A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Sven, and today we are having a special episode without Sean and Alex, but we have a other theme park couple in our midst with which we'll have a very interesting episode about Belgium. Introducing Lisbeth and Tom from Litocoastercouple. Hi guys!
Hey Sven!
So, you guys have, on one hand, a very nice Instagram profile with awesome pics, but also a YouTube channel with incredible videos.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How did it start, the Litocoastercouple accounts?
Well, basically, we've been theme park enthusiasts since about when I was 21 years old, so I was very late into the hobby compared to other people's. And one day we were at the Efteling, and by chance, the Python reopened that day. We didn't know about it, we didn't plan for it, but we were just there on the opening day of Python. So there was a huge fuzz about these little bolts from the Python that you could buy.
Okay, so it was the new version already.
Yeah, it was the new version. Yeah, and we saw all kinds of vloggers and YouTube peoples, and we were like looking onto YouTube for who maybe we were in the background or something. So we found out about the YouTube community by that day. So that's when we started our Instagram account, and that's where it all started, basically.
Yes.
So basically, you thought, I can do it better.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, no. It was like we liked what we saw, and we wanted to join into the community. So yeah, it's basically that's how it happened.
Yeah, it was very fun to see, and then to see how it is growing, and I hope you guys can grow even more. But one of the subjects with which you can grow probably this year is the major coasters coming to Belgium.
Yes.
Of course, we're talking about Kondaa at Walibi, Belgium, and the Ride to Happiness by Tomorrowland at Plopsaland De Panne. That's a mouthful. But before we get into our subject of today, I'm going to talk about one of the latest articles on the Coaster Kings website, also in the theme of Belgium, because we have a brand new article about Paradisa. And if you don't know it, it's a very high-themed zoo in Belgium where you can also sleep and spend the night for, I think it was 1 or 2 years now. And we went there. So we have a full article of how special this zoo is, as it is elected as one of the best in Europe even for its theming. So you can have an impression of what it is. And then the second part is where we discuss all the different type of rooms, and if you're thinking about going to one, which would fit the best for you with a comparison and our experience of the polar bear room. Have you guys been to Paradisa?
No, but we want to go.
Yeah. We were looking into a trip in August now this year with the family of Lisbeth. And depending on how much time everyone can get free from work, it will be either going to France, going to somewhere else in France, or going to Paradisa.
Paradisa.
Yeah.
But it will probably be a house in France, probably somewhere near Burgundy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I agree with Lisbeth. Just scratch it and then go to Paradisa instead.
Yes.
And you can use the useful guide on the website to determine what room you want.
We will for sure look it out.
All right. But so our subject of today are the Belgium theme parks. And although we're going to have the main focus on the 2 new coasters, I would quickly want to touch upon the different parks that we have and the other ones that are also very decent. Now, In Belgium, we have 7 different theme parks, almost 8. It all depends a bit on how you qualify theme parks. But I think we can agree that there are 4 major ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Bellewaerde Park, which is very close to the other one, Plopsaland De Panne. And then region of Brussels, we have Walibi, Belgium. And more region Antwerp, we have Bobbejaanland.
Yes.
Now, when was the first time that you guys went to Bobbejaanland? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember because for Lisbeth, it was the first time somewhere in 2018, I think,
Yes.
before Fury.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So she hadn't been to Bobbejaanland yet. Back then, I have with my family because I used to live near Antwerp. And every year we did do a theme park, but like every family in Belgium does. But Bobbejaanland for Lisbeth was the first time in 2018, and we really enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was not very crowded that day, so we really had time to do everything.
Well, that's usually how Bobbejaanland tries to profile itself, is that it has low queues. But now more they are... Well, there is, for example, VR on the Revolution and Mount Mara, a very unique coaster, which increases the queues, of course. And then there is indeed the new coaster Fury, which opened in, was it 2019? Yeah.
Yes, 2019.
Yes.
Summer 2019.
Okay. What did you guys think of it?
Of Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fury, I think it's a good coaster. It's probably, for us, not the best coaster in Belgium. We still prefer Anubis in Plopsa. But I think the fact that you can choose to ride it backwards is really something we need on more coasters. It really makes the riding unique, and that's mainly the reason why I like this ride.
It's fun that you don't know before if you are going backwards or forwards. The tension I like the most about Fury.
Yeah, well, there is indeed the 2 queues. So you have the queue where you know you'll always go forwards, and then the queue where it is indeed the depending on the choice of the voting buttons on the coaster itself. Personally, I'm quite a fan of Gerstlauer, so I was really happy with a ride like that in Belgium. So for me, it did outrank Anubis because of the speed mostly.
We can agree.
Discussions.
We can agree.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll probably have a different favorite this year, but we'll have to wait and see for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bobbejaanland. And then let's also talk about Bellewaerde Park since this year again. Because they changed their name, apparently. It was one of the news topics today. Yeah, so it is it's like a mini Efteling, don't you agree?
Yes. It was Bellewaerde is a park for me. It is very special because as a child I went every year. So my experience with theme parks is it's grown there. I like it very, very much. I'm a huge fan of the Keverbaan. Everybody hates it, but I love it.
The oldest coaster in Belgium.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful park, and the fact that it has that mix of animals and theme park really makes it also a standout park here in Belgium, because you can combine it for the whole family, because maybe grandma doesn't like to go to the coasters, but she likes to watch the animals with the little children, but the teens, they can go on Boomerang and on
Keverbaan.
Yes.
On the other rides, yeah.
Yeah, it's truly the mix of animals and rides, and then also the green theme.
Yeah.
You really feel it in the park. You feel that it has a history. Last year it didn't only have the oldest coaster, but it also had the newest coaster in Belgium.
Yes.
Wakala. You guys rode it last year, right?
Yeah,
yes,
we rode it at probably one of the last weeks of operation before lockdown struck again.
What were your impressions?
It's a good coaster. It's a family ride. It's most comparable with Pegasus Express in Park Asterix, but this one is very nice because it has that the thing over the water, the ramp,
the spike.
The spike. It gives a nice sensation of floater when you are fully in the front. When you're in the back, not so much, but then the other elements are really good because at some moments it really has some force, and depending on the train, because during the time we visited, they were testing new wheels on the trains.
Oh, yeah.
So they tested hard wheels and soft wheels, and the harder wheels really gave a nice, thrilling ride, which was nice for us because we enjoy that more.
We went also in the period of Halloween, and the special effect in that time was the smoke, so that made it more special. But I think it will be, the smoke is not going to be out
permanently.
Of the season.
Yes. It's only during Halloween, sadly.
Okay, well, that's good to know that it's a special experience then at Halloween.
Yes.
I expected it a little bit more thrilling, but I also know that Bellewaerde is very family focused, so I wasn't surprised. But that spike is really what gives the coaster its unique vibe and really a reason to go to the park. And I think another ride for which the park is pretty famous is El Volador.
Yes.
As it is one of the few Huss topple towers remaining, and it was also the first one. Looking at it, it's more special probably than riding it.
I like it too.
But,
Tom doesn't like it, but I like it.
It is probably the ride that you have the most chance to have your first evacuation on.
Yeah, although I've never had one, so...
Nor have we, but we have seen plenty.
Yeah, so that's a tip. If you go, take that as one of the first ride, because you never know what might happen. Or if you don't want to take the risk of getting stuck all day, then take it to the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I kind of have to say it's my home park because it's the closest one from where I live. But I consider some other parks my home park as well because, that's the good thing about Belgium. We are so central for a lot of theme parks in Europe. But finally, we're getting some extra love in our own country for world-class coasters. Let's start with the one that is probably opening first, and that's Kondaa at Walibi, Belgium. Do you have your reservations?
Yes.
We do.
Yes. So park is opening April 3rd. It's not confirmed that the ride will be open, but from footage we've seen, from rumors we've heard, it might very well be open at the start of the season. Will it be the first thing you run towards as you enter the park?
Of course.
It will depend. It will depend if we will get stampled by the masses.
Yes, well...
I'm a fast runner.
The good thing is that good thing, it depends on how you look at it, but for us, Belgians, we are the only ones that can visit the park because at the moment Belgium has closed its borders still. So there will be definitely crowd of enthusiasts, but they should not be overwhelming because of other countries that are visiting us. But so, yeah, we have Kondaa. And then nearby you guys, as I think it is your home park, we have the Ride to Happiness by Tomorrowland in Plopsaland De Panne.
Oh, what a name, what a name.
Well, we're used to special names in Plopsaland, though. So.
Yeah, it's true. Always the ride.
So let's talk about the different coasters and comparing them. What we'll do is we have in the past, in 2018, made a comparison article of Wicker Man at Alton Towers versus Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. That year, it was the UK year as 2 major coasters opened. So something similar is going on in Belgium this year with these 2. And we'll, in the same way, review the ride, but of course, with our expectations in this episode. And then in the next episode of this series, we'll test after our experiences if we still agree with our responses to the different elements. Sounds good to you guys?
Yes.
So the first thing that we'll compare is the stats of both coasters. So let's start with Kondaa. Kondaa will be 50 meters high, which will mean it will become the highest coaster in Belgium and the Netherlands. It will have a top speed of 113 kilometers per hour and a total length of 1 kilometer and 200 meters. Now those are some decent stats.
Yeah, they are. They shook us really when we saw 50 meters high. Whoa. Yeah, more than 100 kilometers per hour. Whoa!
Like, for people in the US, that's like, okay, that's a smaller coaster. But for Belgium, that's, whoa! What the hell is going on?
Like, and we're getting an Intamin mega coaster in Belgium.
Exactly. So, built by Intamin, it should be, one of the highlights for the region. And maybe outside, that will depend on the experiences. But on the other hand, we also have the Ride to Happiness, which has a height of 33 meters, which was surprising because that's almost the same as Anubis.
Yeah, it's true. If you look outside the park, it almost looks like both are maybe the same, but it looks on the drone pictures that Plopsaland has released. The Ride to Happiness looks quite a bit taller. So we'll have to compare when we're there.
Visual lies. Mm-hmm. It will have a top speed of 90 kilometers per hour, so a little bit slower, but still a decent speed, and a total length of 920 meters. But it will have 5 inversions, compared to Kondaa, which will not have any inversions. So stats-wise, I think we have to say that Kondaa beats it.
Yeah, it's bigger, faster, taller, stronger.
Yeah, but on the other hand,
there are no inversions.
There are more inversions, and bigger and better is not bigger doesn't necessarily mean better, of course.
Yeah, it's true, because we've ridden wooden coasters like what's the one in Groenland called again? Twister?
Twister, yeah.
I think it's a fantastic wooden coaster, even though it's very small, very not tall at all. So we could be surprised.
Yeah, it could be more happiness in Plopsaland. Okay, so stats-wise, 1 point for Kondaa, but that doesn't necessarily mean everything.
Yeah.
Second thing we're reviewing is the story and the theming. For Kondaa, so Kondaa is being built in an existing area, which is the exotic world at Walibi, Belgium. And already in exotic world, we have the Gerstlauer bobsled Tiki Waka. We have a Challenge of Tutankhamun dark ride. So it's kind of Tiki Polynesian theme meets Egyptian theme meets... Well, originally it was going to be more African themed, but I have, the idea that the final concept is just a bit more, it's just adventures. It's not necessarily, it has African vibes, maybe with the restaurants and next to it, but so what are your thoughts about the theme?
Yeah, if we look at concept art, it looks like a jungly theme.
A wilderness.
A wilderness-esque kind of thing. But it looks to have a lot of green, and that's something we like. But as video makers and photographers, is also something we might not like because we might not get good angles. But it looks like a very nice theme. The pictures we've seen already from the main square look with the statue in the middle. It looks really good. I think Walibi is really upping their game when it comes to theming.
Yeah, and it's the trains refer to a kind of mythical monster. It's a bit snake, a bit alligator-like. It's something unique. And that's a bit the story that, if I remember correctly, that we're going to tame the beast or something, or ride the beast. There was this cute little video that they posted about the story. I quite liked it.
Yes.
Yeah, they really are doing better. And to be honest, you mentioned the train. It just looks so sexy. It's
Lisbeth, I think
nothing compared to Lisbeth, but it's a mixture of what I think Taron meets Huracan in Bellewaerde.
Well, yeah, but Huracan is the little zero coaster compared to an intimate mega coaster. But I understand the vibe that you're going. But yeah, it's of course the trains that we know from Taron, but then with the new skin, especially designed for Walibi. So it is as you say, it's they're stepping up their game, and the coaster is also part of the long-term plan, which they kind of followed through. Of course, with COVID, there were some cuts, but they promised that the coaster would be on track, and they did deliver.
Yeah, indeed.
So that's in Walibi. In Plopsaland. I think this was probably one of the biggest shocks out there when they revealed the theme of the Ride to Happiness. Who would have expected that Plopsaland, a very family-centered theme park, would use a Tomorrowland major music festival as a theme? I mean, did you guys see it coming?
No, not at all. I'm a huge fan of Studio 100. I am really fan of K3. I'm really fan of Plop. I am fan of everything. And then they come with Tomorrowland. Like, I don't even like the music. Sorry, people. Sorry who like it. But I don't like the music. So for me, it was a very big shock. But when I thought a little bit and I overthink the theme, I think it will be nice. It will be nice and beautiful, because when you see the stage of Tomorrowland, it's wonderful. You have it's like a fairy tale. It's beautiful. So I hope they will make something great of it. but I don't want the music very loud.
Yeah, but when we hear about the music, we hear all about. They already mentioned that they are going to use the Hans Zimmer hymn. And that is a very nice piece of music. That's absolutely no EDM, but Tomorrowland's going to put their own twist on it. So we're going to get EDM by definite. But
probably,
I really wonder how it's going to turn out. I've lived next to the village that normally hosts Tomorrowland, so I've seen the stages being built several times, and it's amazing what they can do. And as I understand, they will use the people from Tomorrowland to also help with the theming and help with the construction.
Yeah, so Lisbeth, you mentioned Studio 100. So for the people that don't know, it's like the Belgium Disney, which indeed has some characters, Plop the leprechaun, Kadri the music band, but they also made a version. Was it in China or was it? It was somewhere in Asia that they made a version too. So. But they also have Maya the Bee in their portfolio, Wiki the Viking. They have all these characters. And then for Anubis, they also chose one of their own franchises.
Yeah.
And then this came out of the blue. I mean, Tomorrowland, there was nowhere in my mind that I would link those two, because you have the happy... child music, and then you have the electronic dance music from Tomorrowland. But as you mentioned also, what they will do in the area is they will use the style that Tomorrowland has developed now. It's I compare it to Cirque du Soleil, which is a bit special amongst the circuses because they have their own style. Well, same thing applies for Tomorrowland in music festival genre. It's not about music, drugs, and maybe a little bit, but that's not the main thing for the brand that they want to be. They wanted to have this almost fairy tale like style of a music festival, and that's what they are bringing to Plopsaland, I think. We'll have to wait and see how it fits in their global plan, because obviously besides the new coaster, they also opened finally after years and years their Plopsa Hotel.
Yes, indeed.
And also that it looks nice from the outside, that's for sure.
It is nice in the inside also.
Yeah,
I think.
From the images we've seen,
yes.
It looks pretty good. And I think it's going to be a very nice place to combine both the Plopsaqua and the park, because now it's a 2-day destination, if you want to say it. I wouldn't spend all my day at Plopsaqua, but they try.
They are aiming to becoming a resort, because now they have the Plopsa Hotel, and they also have these a little village with houses that they are building on an old campsite. So they're going in that direction. So it makes sense to have the right to happiness. But some other areas in the park will still need some work to be very much to consider the park very much a resort, I think. But we'll see. Because capacity-wise, Plopsaland isn't always the best to handle the crowds.
No, mainly because also the rides, the real thrill rides that they have, they always have these low capacities. Anubis can hold 6 people per train. Heidi can have 12 people per train. Now, the Ride to Happiness will have 16 peoples, which is again an upgrade. And it will also spread the crowds again a little bit, but I think we'll also have more attention because more people will come to the park just because it is the first.
Tomorrowland.
No, also because of Tomorrowland, but it's the first European extreme spinner, and
yes,
people will not go to Silver Dollar City just because of that. If they can stay in Europe for that, they will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good to mention because it is indeed the only one so far built by Mack in Europe. What I've heard from Sean and Alex, who are pretty enthusiastic about Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City, is that the trains is one of their favorite things of the ride. Now, we've seen pictures that the trains have arrived in Plopsaland.
Yeah.
Wrapped in plastic.
Wrapped.
Still wrapped, yep. But I am guessing it will be a bit similar style to the ones in Silver Dollar City. It's also because they kept a little bit the steampunk theme going on in the concept arts. So, yeah. Will they also be sexy, Tom, do you think?
To be honest, I think the Silver Dollar City trains are one of the coolest trains out there. With the LED on the thing in front of you when you sit down, the steampunk vibe, the colors, the brown, gold, gray. It really looks nice and polished. And I really like the train, so I can imagine a lot of people being angry that Plopsa just blatantly asked for the same trains as Silver Dollar City, but I'm so happy.
Lisbeth, you're getting competition from sexy coaster trains.
Yes. I have to watch out.
Yes. But yeah, so I think the Tomorrowland area will still be a bit its own part of Plopsaland. So even the parents that are scared of a Tomorrowland with festival people, will that still be a child-friendly park? I guess so, because they kind of want to limit the impact on the other parts of the park. So it will be interesting to see unfold.
Yeah, and they also only have one way into the area. So it really will be a secluded area. So only the peoples who really want to go there will go there. And the rest of the park won't. Yeah, it's not like you have a path going from the Plop area going to the Super Splash area. They can't go through this new area.
That makes me think of, we're still 2021, so still COVID times, let's say. And in Phantasialand for Rugburg, they made a queue to enter the area. So perhaps they will do the same thing for the happiness area if it's getting too crowded.
We will see. We will see.
Okay. Okay, so pick a theme. Are we more adventurous Kondaa or more fairy tale with a little bit of electronic music?
I'm a fairy tale person, but without the electronic music.
My vote goes to the Right to Happiness, because I think the theming might be a little bit better. Plus, we get the onboard audio by Tomorrowland, so that gives me the edge for that one.
Yeah, the thing with Kondaa is that it is built in an entirely new area of the park, so there was nothing there before, while the Right to Happiness clearly is integrated in half of the area where is new, but the other half is going over the lake, it's going to the pirate area, going to Megamindi area, Kadri area, Kacha area. Okay, a lot of areas. But that's Plopsa, of course.
Yeah.
But and it already has the existing environment, so it might be a bit more of a challenge for Kondaa to, at opening, have all the trees and the I was going to say wildlife, but there's no wildlife. So yeah, the greenery of the area might be a bit less at Kondaa. However, my vote still goes to that because I like the direction they are going with these different worlds in Walibi, and I really lean towards a more adventurous theme. So for me, it's it's balanced between what you prefer, basically.
Yeah, it's certainly more organized in Walibi.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's for story and theming. So it's kind of balancing in between. As for the ride experience, so from Kondaa, we can expect a lift hill. We can expect quite some interesting elements. Obviously, airtime hills, but we will have an outward banked airtime hill. And the most special element probably has to be the non-inverting cobra roll. A world's first. If you've seen the test footage, it might give some airtime as well. I don't really know what to expect from it.
No, indeed, it's a very strange element. During the first cold test runs, it went through it very slowly, and I was really. But now seeing the newer videos, I'm getting my hopes back up. It could be an interesting element.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing is clear: it's meant to be an airtime machine, and we have seen the larger elements going through until the non-inverting cobra roll, but then there's still another big part of the ride that's kind of low and secret at the moment. So I like that it will be a bit of a surprise because, yes, there is the on-ride video, but I haven't watched it anymore. So that part might still be very interesting too because it's so low to the ground. So it will definitely be. I think there are high expectations for the ride experience.
Yeah, we can see that as well because we've noticed videos from all around the world hyping up different coasters coming out in 2021. And I've noticed 80% of them has Kondaa at the number one spot. It's crazy to think that all the world is watching and thinking this ride, this in this Belgian park might be the best coaster in the world next year. Oh, this year.
Yeah. But hang on, there is competition from the Ride to Happiness.
Yes.
Because Ride to Happiness it's almost uncomparable layout-wise, because there we have 2 launches. We have, as mentioned before, the 5 inversions, and their turnaround element is the banana roll that will be interesting on a spinning train. Like, every ride experience will be different because of it as well. I've never done a spinning coaster with inversions. I know there are only a few, and I always wondered why there were only so many. Because I mean, it's as I mentioned, every time will be different, and it has to be a weird sensation going upside down, twisting around.
Yeah. It's really going to be interesting because also I'm really curious about the sidewards launching, the drop getting backwards, all those kind of things. It's really interesting. I'm really curious about how all those forces will be feeling all different because when you have a 0G roll, normally you have a 0G roll and you go, you know how you go through them, but. When you're sideways seating, it's like doing a backflip, almost.
Oh yeah.
So I really wonder how that's going to feel.
Yeah, and going around the lake and the views, I think, will also be very fun. because that for me, those kind of things also uplift a ride experience.
Yes,
if you're
I am a very great fan of interactions with lakes. I'm a huge fan of Goliath.
Yes.
So the Ride to Happiness will have that interaction also. Because I'm very excited about that. For me, it's to almost touch the water. It's wonderful. So I hope it will be with the Ride of Happiness. Yeah, a little bit like that.
Yeah, you also have that with Phoenix when you are in the helix on the right side. That's also a fan favorite for Lisbon.
Yes.
Yeah, because on one side we'll have the lake, but then the final turn will also pass by a little pond. I think that they will.
Yeah, they will be making a small pond at the turnaround at the second part. So after the second launch, it's going to be very interesting. I think it might look very beautiful and will be interesting.
So, ride experience. Are we leaning more towards the Kondaa one or more to Ride to Happiness?
I think it's a very difficult one. But when I have to choose one, I think it will be the Ride to Happiness.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because they are so different. One's spinning, one's a mega coaster. I like mega coasters. I like Expedition GeForce. I like Goliath. But this really interests me, and I really think the Ride to Happiness will be so much different to anything we have ever done. So my vote also goes to the Ride to Happiness.
You know, I think amongst coaster enthusiasts, there are preferences towards more airtime or more inversions or more G-forces. I think it depends very much on that also, because if you're a big fan of inversions, then obviously you will lean towards the Ride to Happiness. But if you are all about airtime, then Kondaa will probably be your choice. So for me, it's different. It's difficult because I like both of them. Like I like inversions, I like airtime. Although there are people that say that Taron could use with inversions. I'm on team no inversions. Sorry. Because it doesn't always have to be the case. And for that reason, I'm glad that Kondaa also took that direction. So I'll still go for airtime and go for Kondaa, but it's a bit dangerous because I've ridden Hyperion at Energylandia, and you have the big airtime hills, and then it goes down and very low to the ground, and the layout looks very snatchy, but when you actually ride it, I was expecting more. So I'm scared that I'll have the same thing for Kondaa.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We haven't ridden Hyperion yet. We will, or hopefully will, in October. But yeah, it's. I've heard the same complaints from other people.
But we know that the airtime from Taron. So, I mean, if it's that kind, then I will be very much a fan of Kondaa.
Yeah, same.
But also the ride experience of Plopsa will be. I have low expectations, but I think that's very good because then it can only be better, and it will probably be so. Okay, so I'm kind of already knowing what your preference will be in general of taking the two and putting them next to each other with everything taken into account. Are you guys more excited about the Ride to Happiness?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's we're probably also biased because it's our home park. It's 20 minutes away from us. It's
We saw it grow.
Yeah, we saw it grow.
Oh yeah.
Like a little baby.
however, when we last year we visited Walibi, Belgium, and we looked at it, we were rethinking as well. So it's for me, it's somewhere in the middle, but still more preference to the Ride to Happiness.
I think it will depend on the overall experience. I think we can't make a decision right now because I'm really into a coaster of the full experience. I'm not, it's higher, it's bigger, it's faster, but I really love the total experience, the music, the vibe of the place, and the moment that moment you are in the coaster, you have a sort of feeling. I want to wait at that to make a decision.
Yeah, I totally agree. You probably can also predict my preference, yes. Possible preference. So
I think it's Kondaa.
Kondaa.
Yes. But same story, but the other way around. Like, I am excited for the Ride to Happiness. I want to see how wacky the theme ends up to be and how thrilling it ends up to be as well. Because I don't think will have to go for thrills to the Ride to Happiness, but it might still be enough to have like this special feeling and experience. But yeah, of course, I'm a real thrill seeker coaster-wise, and that's why I hope that Kondaa will deliver to its expectations of actually being an incredible airtime machine. But how can it not be? I mean,
that first hill,
look
though.
At the test.
That first hill.
The first. But I think the second one, just like Goliath, will be the one that surprises the most during the ride.
It's also one of the most beautiful airtime hills we've seen in a while.
Yeah. So, well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe April 3rd for Kondaa, when we are there.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. And then for the Ride of Happiness by Tomorrowland, we haven't mentioned it yet, but so they aim at summer 2021. Of course, it can be beginning of July or September, because that's still summer. But I'm guessing they are aiming, if everything remains stable COVID-wise, towards beginning of July or maybe halfway. I know from personal experience that their high season really starts around the 15th of July. But like the trains have arrived, so maybe we can see some testing next month.
Yeah, that would be nice. I think
we can expect videos then from pictures and some videos from the Litocoastercouple.
Not the little, the Lito.
Yeah, the Lito. Alrighty. Okay. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say it will be. We'll probably be there as many times as we can just to make more footage of that ride because, it's going to be interesting.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's it for this episode of Coaster Kings Radio, the Belgium special. And as mentioned before, this is the part 1 before, and then we'll have the part 2 after, and really talking about the two coasters and seeing which one will end up being the real champion of the two. But I think we're blessed to have these two coasters anyway, and that both of them will be a reason to visit Belgium this year, if the measures allow it, of course. Thank you, Lisbeth. Thank you, Tom, for joining today. I hope you had fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
It was our first time.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So thank you for joining us. And you guys listening, thank you for listening. Please leave a review if you are listening on Apple, or send us a message with your feedback. We always appreciate it. And also check it out on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have all sorts of articles coming up on the website, and also the minisodes continue on the Lost Coasters of California. So thank you for listening, and have a great day or evening or wherever you may be. Until next time, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.